Hello, welcome to the Daily Bible Podcast. My name is William Hemsworth. Thank you so much for joining me for today's program. Well, today we're starting Matthew chapter 19, so that's pretty exciting, right? We're moving right along in our journey through Scripture here. We're going to look at verses 1 through 2 in this 19th chapter of Matthew's Gospel. Alright, so Matthew 19 verses 1 through 2 say, "Now when Jesus had finished these sayings, he went away from Galilee and entered the region of Judea beyond the Jordan, and large crowds followed him, and he healed them there." So Matthew 19 is kind of like a transition, if you will. Here Jesus has just finished his ministry in Galilee, and he's headed towards Jerusalem. And he's headed towards Jerusalem for the Passover, which will, be his passion, if you will, his death, his trial, etc. But him going east of the Jordan towards Jerusalem is actually pretty significant as well, because this is the location that's linked with John the Baptist, for one. And secondly, this region beyond the Jordan is a place where Moses gave the laws that we see in the book of Deuteronomy. And this is quite significant because in this first narrative in Matthew chapter 19, the Pharisees are going to try to trap Jesus about asking when it's lawful to divorce. Okay, and with John the Baptist as an example, he was executed. His head was chopped off, if you remember right. His head was chopped off for basically condemning the divorce and remarriage of Herod Antipas and his mistress. And then also significant, like I said, this is where the laws of Deuteronomy were given to Moses, and this is where Jesus is going to repeal that portion in there, the concession for divorce and remarriage. So it's going to be so it's pretty significant here. So this is it's a little background on Matthew chapter 19 as we get into it a little deeper. But here, like I said, Jesus has just finished his ministry in Galilee. He's going into Judea. And here, Matthew squeezes this narrative of divorce. It's a kind of a narrative between the disciples and the Pharisees. This one here that we're going to talk about first is going to be about divorce. That one's with the Pharisees. The Pharisees are trying to trap Jesus. And further in Matthew chapter 19, which is actually a fairly short chapter, we see Jesus blessing the children, saying, "Let the children come to me." And then lastly, we get the parable of we get a discourse between Jesus and the rich young man. And that'll round out Matthew chapter 19. So we'll get into those in more detail over the next few days, probably the next 3-4 days or so, and then we'll finish up there. We'll go into Matthew 20. Anyway, some background on those transitional verses in Matthew chapter 19, those first 2 verses there. So God bless you. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Daily Bible Podcast. Have a great day. Don't forget to visit my website, williamhemsworth.com, for other articles and resources for you. God bless you. Have a fantastic day.